Kind of go through your lowest lows and your highest highs.
We'll start with the highest high because I think that's what's most important, and that was the day he was born. You know, it was pretty amazing. At that point in time when he was born, other than the couple days waiting up until he was born, that day he was born was so amazing. Looking at him, you don't have a regret in the world. So that was probably my highest high. My lowest low would have been telling my parents.
My daughter learned how to walk on campus. I was actually visiting for coming here my freshman year, and I was doing all my academic stuff. I was getting my schedule all straightened out and things like that. And she started walking down the middle walkway, and I was like, okay then, wow. It was one of the experiences I'll definitely remember most about SLU. The lowest thing I would probably have to say is I'm actually a theater major, and I was an assistant stage manager for the second play last year. And when I had to be here all day, every day, for probably about 3 months straight, I got to see my daughter on the weekends maybe for about 5 or 6 hours, and I hated it.
I guess some of my high points was to come back and to be a student again and to be on the campus that I love so much, and just to reflect back and to see how I can get back to the SLU community through my experiences. I know that might sound ridiculous, but that just gives me a high because I could feel, this is how I learned from my experiences, and this is how the SLU community can learn, and this is how I can give back. That's definitely a high for me, just to, I guess, try to help others. And I think another high for me would be just to bring Madison back on campus. I think is one of the biggest things I can do to show people, I'm not ashamed. Yeah, I was pregnant. Yeah, I was a leader on campus. Yeah, these things happened. I think that was a big thing for me, to be able to bring her back on campus and to show people it's okay. My lowest lows was feeling that I had to transfer from a campus that I loved. I think deep down I would have loved to stay and not transfer. Some of my most difficult things were just the other day, I actually came back on campus and brought my daughter Madison with me, and we were visiting with some of my sorority sisters, and it became late, so I asked one of them to walk me to the parking garage because, just the campus and having a little one with me, I didn't want anything bad to happen. Well, we were walking and we approached Grease, and then we took a right heading towards the rec center, and there was actually 2 DPS officers rounding Grease's building and kind of by Clemens, and they were just, on their rounds and looking for whatever. I don't know what they're looking for. But then they came around the building and stopped and looked at us, and I turned to my sorority sister and was like, well, that's kind of weird. And we kept walking, and then we realized they turned and they kept following us more. And then we kind of stopped, and I was like, well, this is weird. Is somebody, are they looking for somebody that, escaped? I don't know what was going on. And then the guy, one of the officers says, excuse me, ma'am, and so we stopped, and they came up, and then they began to question us, if my daughter was a doll, if she was fake, because she was sleeping and not moving. And I just looked at them in shock, and I was like, are you serious? And I had to begin to unbundle her and show her this is a real baby, she's breathing. And they were then kept questioning us if we were smuggling alcohol or drugs or something ridiculous. And I became quite offended because I had to show them this is a real baby, this is my daughter, and they began to say oh, we're sorry, after they finally realized that we weren't smuggling alcohol or drugs or whatever they thought. They didn't really apologize, but they said, oh, I'm sorry, we were bored. And I'm like, you're bored? That doesn't really give you an excuse to stop us. And so I just couldn't believe it, and I was like, this is ridiculous. And they're like, well, we just don't see strollers or babies on campus, and SLU people don't have children. And I think, it was okay for them to stop me, but adding that on, I think made me more offended.
So So what were the good things and bad things you found about, SLU in terms of their academic accommodations, policies, etc.?
I was able to get my leave of absence. I was really worried about that. I also got a scholarship leave of absence because if I wouldn't have gotten that and would have had to have stayed an extra semester, I wouldn't have had my scholarship for that last semester. So I was able to get those things. It was definitely good that my teachers were aware that I was pregnant, and the I don't know about everywhere else, but the nursing faculty are very accommodating for it. If Zachariah gets sick and I can't make it to a class and I let him know, they're usually pretty understanding that, your kid comes before being in class. So, I mean, that was good. There's no daycare anywhere here. There's nothing like that.
Has the school done well with helping to accommodate your, academic?
Academic-wise, yes, but it would be a whole lot easier if I had something to do, there was some place for my daughter to go to, or him even, with everything being so darn expensive lately.
As far as help I received, not too much because we didn't come out and say anything while I was on campus. I don't think I would have been comfortable in going to student health and counseling just because how sometimes they deal with problems and issues, and it's not very secretive, and I feel like if I did go, my information would have been out into the SLU community.
Do you think that you have the appropriate knowledge for what kind of resources are available on campus for pregnant parenting women?
I don't at all. I didn't know any resources. I would hope that there were, but I've never looked into it at all.
No. I know that they don't have any child care services here, but other than that, I don't know anything.
I have no idea what they offer.
The School for Professional Studies does have scholarships. At least we claim to have scholarships for pregnant, or well, not really pregnant, but women with children, so that you can go to night school, things like that.
I actually, an interesting piece of information, I actually had a friend that called and was like, if I, basically if she had, she was pretending like she was pregnant, because it was something we did after the fact, because I was like, I don't think they would have helped me. And she actually called, and they basically didn't know what information to tell her, and didn't really give her too much help. And so, I think even if I did, pursue the campus resources, that it wouldn't have helped me anyways.
So, where can girls go if they don't feel that campus is an option? Well, there are two organizations that are set up close by to help students in these situations, and each offers a different operating philosophy and standard of care.
In our health centers, we offer pregnancy testing on a walk-in basis all day, every day. We're open 6 days a week. We always have health centers that are open on Saturdays, so that we have evening hours, so that we try to be accessible. And when somebody comes in and has a positive pregnancy test, regardless of whether they knew that was going to be the outcome or not, we have our patient educators, like I said, who are our trained, counselors that are able to talk to them about, how they're feeling about the result, what all of their options are. So every person that has a positive pregnancy test, we talk to them about continuing the pregnancy, we talk to them about adoption or foster care, and we talk to them about termination. We give them any information that they request, and we try to facilitate that and help them get to the next step of care. Women are wanting to choose the option to go through a 4-year education, to go to graduate school, etc., and delay that, starting a family. And the best way to do that is through information about how to protect yourself against unplanned pregnancy, and if you choose to use birth control methods, to be able to access those. So, I think that every woman should have that opportunity, and it should be available to them as easily as it is to any other woman.